So hi, I'm back, and yeah, so we're gonna continue where we left off before. Let's see here, restore. There we go. So about 6% of stuff unlocked. That's yeah. I feel like I barely got into the game at all. All right, so I'm just stop giving like a short intro of what I did last time, and just kind of go straight into it, and I'll talk afterwards. So let's go straight into it. All right, this is where we left off. Let's see here. Let's start with this. The New Friendship. By Kim Young-soo. See, well, it's true that I might be, as my wife suggests, alarmingly serious. It's hard to argue with having a nice meal out of... Wait. It's hard to argue with enjoying a nice meal out of it. It means cultivating Magistrate Park's trust even more. Just having the invitation alone is a pretty good sign. I assumed we would be going to this house after finishing with the day's affairs, but instead he led the other way. Oh, you do not want to visit there? My son has a newborn child who is very, very unconducive to entertaining guests, I'm afraid. He said with a laugh. Surely you'll understand, said we headed to the plaza. Alrighty then, something's going on here. See, outside of the occasional New Year's festivals, when I was a child, I had never actually been there before. I never had much of an eye for details at the time, so I was surprised to see just how richly decorated everything was. But for what was essentially a giant market. Beautiful arrangements adorned every stall, wall, partition, and rather than the commotion of a crowd, all I could hear was the sound of peaceful music. It was still, of course, a market. There were no merchants stoutly hawking wares, and some of the prices on the signs I saw would make the emperor blush. Oh yeah, sorry, I forgot to say, now that I'm reading this, because it keeps saying emperor, I actually got some clarification on what time period this is taking place in, and that is indeed the year 321. These are logs from the history of this people's family, which I'm getting backstory on, from what I understand. So, my last video, the confusion, that's basically cleared up the confusion. In the atmosphere, we ate together at a public house that defied my expectations. The food was both plentiful and far better than anything I'd ever had in either of my houses. If this sounds indulgent, it absolutely is. And I definitely don't plan on telling anyone the details like this. The only thing I plan to repeat from this evening is what the magistrate confided in me. Uh-oh. Things are getting a little, gossipy here. That when he was moved from his position, he'd like to recommend me to fill his place. I'd be young for the position, but it would be a stepping stone to the one I'm dreaming of. I remain calm since I'm good at that, but it's the best news I've heard in my life. Huh, so someone's going up in the world. Young-soo's wife. Dearest mother, if you haven't already heard the good news, my husband has been appointed by the emperor to the position of magistrate. He's taken over the office from Magistrate Park starting today, which is just tremendous for a man his age. I have no doubt that he was perfectly humble when he got the news, since he certainly has been while talking about it in front of father-in-law. In private, though, it's another story. Earlier, the family held a small feast to celebrate the news, and he had the same attitude then too. But afterwards, when everyone else had left or gone to bed, we stayed up to sit together drinking wine, and it was a whole lot more somber. He wasn't modest, but he wasn't boastful either. He was just outright insecure. Understandably, you get such a high position, and you're going to be insecure about it, unless, well, no, you're going to be insecure about it no matter what. Putting on a brave face. I say, relate to that. He might not say it in front of you, but you know what? He said to me, as I poured more wine, he takes all the credit for my promotion. According to him, it's all because of the Emperor's perfect new bride, which is, of course, all because of him, I said quietly. I don't want to take credit for her. I wasn't the one who got her to shut up. That was all him. I don't like discussing it, and please, mother, don't even ask me why. Alright. Doesn't matter, he said. That's not why I got promoted. I got promoted because now High Magistrate Park, I imagine, to make Smith look so bad, he had to get shuffled off. It's exposing the whoring and thuggery that did it. Not the damned pale bride, he said with annoyance. Well, that's how he is. He'll never give you credit for anything, I said, he replied. He replied, I know, I just wish he'd acknowledge it. I just don't know how he can be so stupid as to not be proud of me, I know, I said, but let's not focus on that right now. I think we should focus on the good right now. How about we toast your success instead? Here's to the new Magistrate Kim. I raised my glass and drank. He betrayed the faintest of smiles, but he didn't share my toast, and instead put down his glass. For a moment I was worried, but then he used that hand to grab my chin instead, and for the first time ever kissed me on the mouth. Far sweeter than any wine, he said to me. I wasn't sure if he meant the kiss or the success, but I agreed either way. Alright, I kind of had a sweet moment there, you know. He kind of confessed some of his insecurities, and she kind of told him, you know, it's okay to concentrate on the fact that you are a magistrate, you know, don't concentrate on the bad. But obviously the Pale Bride is going to have a lot to do with this later on, if it isn't already obvious, right? Let's see what she has to say. Oh, as you'll see soon enough, it seems to come back to the Pale Bride. Yeah, I've noticed that since the beginning, actually, since seeing that's how they don't even call her by her real name. But, you know, let's see what she has to say about this. I don't think Kim Jong-soo ever thought very much of the adopted son, or at least neither he nor his wife thought so. You know what I think, though? Let's try yes. I think they're both really dumb. I mean, it's not like she ever did anything. It's not her fault. She just happened to be there and was married as a political gesture. What kind of person projects their insecurities onto someone who only ever just got pushed around? Sorry, I guess I'm getting a little bit off track here. That's not really helpful, is it? Well, no, it's not, but, just try being a nice guy about it for now, right? I already pissed her off before. Well, anyway, get back on track here. Right. The story of my life, right? I'm being nice. Yeah, well, just back to work. Like, yeah, okay. Let's see what you had to say about the new friendship. Okay. The plaza sounds like a really interesting place, doesn't it? Yeah, I mean, expensive. That, you know, hurts my, you know... I mean, I wouldn't really know personally. But as I understand it, it was a big place for celebrating festivals and really surprising to see. You leave one of the few tiny, modern, dark, quiet corridors that lead to it. Then suddenly there was this huge open space filled with all sorts of colorful signs and vendors. I think proper gentlemen were supposed to be more modest, though, so they wouldn't really want to associate with that sort of thing too openly. I guess. Oh, message. Hey, I just wanted to say thanks for paying attention to me. Okay. It's like I was saying earlier, I just haven't had anyone to talk to in so long. Last time there was anyone around this ship was the year 322 by my count. It's now 944. I mean, do you have any idea how long that is? It wasn't really so bad at first. It was nice to... Okay, so now apparently... Now I'm confused. Apparently the 322 ship... Okay, so I'm just going to go off of this is completely fictional. In a place taken completely fictionally. And the year 322 is a fictional date for this fictional game. I'm just going to take it as that, because I thought it was actual date, but I think the other person might have misunderstood too. Who knows? Alright, let's go. It wasn't so bad at first. It was nice not to have to worry about anyone telling me what to do. I could just occupy myself, go through the old logs. But, well, I read quickly. Yeah, well, you're a computer, so yeah. After the first few years, start to really sink in the loneliness. Eventually, you sort of just get used to it. It feels awful. You never like it, but you get used to it in ways that sort of scare you. That was a whole 100 years that went by where I didn't have a single thought. Not one. I sat there idle. I didn't even notice. I just had been feeling particularly, what's the word? Sleepy? I want to say, but that's not right. I guess maybe that doesn't translate. Yeah, not really. Sleepiness is kind of a human, like, need to regenerate, you know, stuff. Yeah, so, yeah. I don't think computers know what sleep is. Anyway, the point is, I was in a lazy mood, and I decided to call my clock subroutine, and it turned out it had been 3 trillion milliseconds since the last time I'd called it scary. Geez, I'm rambling, sorry. As you can understand, my perception of time is all off. So, sorry, I'll shut up. My point is, I'm really happy to have someone out there. Well, alone for hundreds of years with a computer that thinks at the speed of, you know, hundreds of thousands of, you know, calculations a second. Yeah, I can imagine I can get lonely. Okay, I already read all this. Let's see what's next. We're on block 9. Let's try block 10 now. Marital admonitions. That's what we should say about that. Of course, the last person to hold the titles of Captain and Emperor on the ship was Hyung-ae. Which of Captain Ryu's wives do you wish to know more about? I'm gonna go with the Pale Bride, seeing as how she's been coming up a lot. Very well, short a lot, so this is gonna be tricky to filter. I guess I'll just start at the top and let you figure out what's important. Oh, so I'm supposed to be figuring out what's important. Huh. So a lot of this is just useless crap. Well, not useless crap, but, you know, obviously stuff that has nothing to do with the ship itself, but, yeah. Oh, a new block. Let's have good fortune. The second month of the 319th year was one of great fortune for the Kim family. While on unofficial business, the captain and Emperor Ryu confided in me that he wished that I had a daughter of marriage age to give him to take as a second wife. His first wife had been unable to provide a son and was becoming increasingly concerned that she never would. At the start of the month, I had no daughter in my family to give. My only son, Young-soo, was still without a child, yet it was a perfect opportunity. This may sound fantastical, but I swear it's true. Passed on through the generations of the main branch of the Kim family is a giant egg of translucent luster, such one that can see the form of a sleeping child inside. She is known as the Pale Bride for the inscription on the egg, and she was entrusted in our family to be awakened during a time of great prosperity. Yet, as many knows, prosperity is seized, not waited on. A daughter to provide the emperor with a son, a daughter to provide the emperor with a son would elevate the family above the other noble houses once and for all. Considering this, I promised the emperor. Oh, I did have a daughter who would soon be of marriage age to present to him. Then I smashed the egg, such that the Pale Bride passed through the Kim family for years, could be adopted as my own daughter. She is a strange child, but it will make a fine wife for the emperor. What good fortune. Okay, so the Pale Bride is from an egg that was hatched or broken open. Alrighty then. Apparently everything the man wrote was of very little value. It all reads like boring stuff, obnoxiously patriarchal. I'm gonna guess she's kind of against the whole patriarch thing, seeing as how she's kind of mentioned towards her not liking it before. I'm not exactly gonna call her a feminist, because, you know, it's not like she's exactly a female, if you will, but she's definitely against patriarchs. Let's see. If it has something to do with the ship breaking down, I'm guessing yes. If you insist. Very well, if I had the other relevant interest from him, I'll caution you from taking him seriously, though. Yeah, well, since you don't like patriarchies, I can assume you would not want me to take the guy very seriously. Oh, the Broken Promise, Pale Bride. I'm pretty sure she's the one that wrote this, actually. Cryostasis. Huh. Well then, sci-fi it is. See, Pale Bride. Dear Diary, last week I woke up from cryostasis. Before I went in, Father promised me that when I woke up in the future, they'd have medicine again. Oh, that I'd finally get better. That I might not see him again, but his sentence would make everything right. But the future broke his promise. I'm scared and confused, and I don't get what happened. I think there was a big disaster while I was in stasis or something. Everyone's so uneducated and stupid. Oh, she's from the future. Huh. So I guess 322 is like 322 years after whatever disaster may have happened. Alright. Father and Mother were kind of dumb at times, but the guy who woke me up, he might be named Kim, but he's nothing like them. Father was wrong. Nothing's better. The future sucks. Yeah. Oh, man. This is getting much more interesting now. This started off kind of boring, but future, cryostasis, disasters happening, yeah, it's getting a lot more interesting. The Pale Bride did keep an extensive diary. I'll try to find some more entries. Thank you. I think I actually want to read her stuff if she is actually from the future. Well, from the past, future, you know, yeah, stuff, yeah. Insufferable child. I'm guessing a girl from the more advanced society might actually be annoyed by the patriarchal bullshit she's having to put up with, seeing how they're marrying her off. Well, at this point we know that ahead of time she doesn't, so yeah, holy shit. Let's see, do you recall how in my last letter I mentioned the Pale Bride being brought into the household? Take back any kind words might have said about her. The alpha child is nothing but the most insufferable person I have ever met. Yeah. I just thought I'll have a little more time of peace. With Young-soo's adopted mother visiting her own family, I've been given full responsibility over the miserable child. What happened to my promised domestic bliss? She is in trouble so often, one would think she were a boy. I've known plenty of boys that don't get in that much trouble. At least I'm just saying. I mean, I know I did, but that's just because, you know, genes in the family, crazy people. She acts like one too. I suppose it can't be helped. She says she lived her first 12 years in the past, and I can see it. She certainly acts as though she's from a less civilized time. Ironic. Just last night, she made a huge scene at dinner time. She kept trying to rudely leave the table in front of Young-soo and father-in-law, loudly insisting that she was too sick to eat. She said she has said this before, too. I was worried, so I had a doctor examine her. She is, of course, in perfect health. When asked why she thought otherwise, she started talking about how pale and thin she was. She's not truly unhealthy. All she was doing was rubbing it in that she is far more delicate and beautiful than I. What a cruel little child. Why must she be so spiteful to me? Wow. So, in the future, women are still hate each other. See what he has to say. Oh, him. Oh, sorry. Do you want more from Kim Young-soo's wife, or do you want the reply from her mother? I want more from her. I want to see what she thinks. Very well, I can give you a couple from his wife. Here you are. Held prisoner. That's the Pale Bride writing stuff now. Dear Dyer, today I was forced to stay in the home all day. I didn't get to leave yesterday, or the day before that, or the day before that, or the day before that, or any other day either. I wonder about how much the ship has changed since I was put into stasis. But I can't even see it. I keep asking why I'm being kept prisoner. Nobody will tell me. The woman who keeps bossing me around, she's awful. I'm dying here. I keep telling her I'm sick. That's why I was in stasis to begin with, but she won't listen. She just treats me like I'm a stupid kid. I try to argue with her. Look how pale I am. Can't you see that I'm sick? I swear, I'm not making up what she said in response. Why must you be so rude? It's not polite for a girl to boast about her beauty. Beauty? I try not to cry in front of her. I've had to do that a lot. I'm not beautiful. I have a compromised immune system. I shouted at her and ran away. I don't remember what she said back. Something about using big words, I think. How stupid is she? She hates me. I don't know why, but she hates me. That's why I'm not allowed to go visit the ship plaza, though. Young-soo, the man who keeps telling me to call him father, said the same thing. He promised me that I would have a chance to leave soon, though. I don't think he was being nice, though. I'll write about him more later. Right now I have to go to bed, or the woman will get mad at me. So they're on the ship this whole time? So I'm guessing that she was put into stasis on the ship, and the ship is large enough to hold several people, and somehow they reverted back to a feudal system of governing? That's an interesting thought. Like I said, this gets more interesting along the way. I don't regret starting this game at all. So I'll just let you keep reading. Please let me know when you've read all the ones I just gave you. Okay. Sorry if I keep shifting my weight. I'm like cross-legged on the floor, so, you know, my butt's going numb. More on the Pale Bride. Dear Diary, I got in trouble today, but for the first time, it was my own fault. A little bit, at least. I think the sister-in-law was being crazy about it, but I should have known better. Now that I write that it looks ridiculous. God, what is living with these people doing to me? The computer console in my room doesn't have anything in it. I don't just mean it doesn't have all the cartoons I bought from Earth or any of my books or anything. I mean, there's literally nothing there for me to entertain myself with at all. Nothing. So I thought to myself that maybe sister-in-law might be different and checked. It wasn't. So instead I decided to go in and check my father's study. Not snooping or anything, just looking on his computer for books. I had a thought that it might be bad, but my real father never would have gotten too upset. What could the harm be? I was in there for maybe 10 minutes looking for anything that was even written in Korean. There was nothing. By the way, every single book, symbols that look like Chinese characters. Every single one. I think maybe something terrible happened in the past that made all the computer data get deleted and everyone forgot how to read Korean. And also, they all got really stupid about things. I don't think I'll ever find out why. It just sucks. Wow. So they're definitely on the ship and something definitely happened and all the data got erased. So that's kind of interesting to think that, you know, people living on a ship for that long can actually lose their culture and then just build up a new one. But still talk Korean, but write in Chinese. Huh. Anyway, I was in there for only 10 minutes. Yeah. He just acted like he was... Oh, sorry. Anyway, I thought I was in there for 10 minutes searching through the console when Hyung-ae went in. I thought he was going to get angry, but actually he just looked like he was really scared. He didn't scold me when he dragged me out. He just looked really worried. I only got in trouble when he brought me back to his wife. He told her, "Do you have any idea where she was?" She was in the men's quarters, looking through father's computer. Do you have any idea how he would react if he saw that? You're supposed to be watching her. She apologized repeatedly to him. I just didn't know what to say. I don't think sister-in-law did either. After he left, she gave me this really long and awful lecture. Why would you go into the men's quarters? Why would you go looking for books? Why must you be so unfilial? Do you really not understand that you're a girl? I told her I didn't understand. I mean, of course I'm a girl, but I had no idea what she was talking about when I told her that. She just lectured me more. I hate her so much. Yeah. Oh, message. So there's probably one big question that's on your mind, isn't there? That isn't being addressed at all, right? Yeah. What happened between the pale bride being frozen and walking up that made society go all wrong? Right. I figured. I mean, it's an obvious question. Sorry, I wish I could tell you, but I'm afraid that mystery's forever lost to time. I guess that's pretty anticlimactic. Sorry. I really want to know, too. Whatever terrible thing happened, it must have been really, really big. But I'm afraid that all the log data from before the year 1 was wiped, and all the clocks were reset. I guess that's why it's called year 1. Oh, okay, so yeah. Anyway, so nobody remembered that happened in between, or even how long it was between. It was hundreds of years, I assume, but I don't really know. So, yeah, really sorry to let you down there. That part's going to be a mystery forever. There's nobody who could possibly know. You just have to take it as a given. Sorry. Yeah, I think somebody does know. She's keeping secrets. She has to be. Or maybe just my distrust of AIs in general. You know, robots will take over. And she's one of them. She deleted all the data. Mwahaha! See what you say more. Say, before you keep going, can I just interrupt you for a couple of minutes? Yeah, I guess. Thanks, just, well, you're finding so much about the Mugungwa, but I know absolutely nothing about where you're from. Awkward. She's trying to get to know me. Let's see where this goes. I said there's been nobody to talk to for centuries. I mean, I don't like that either, but the ship is all I really know about, and it's been disconnected from all their civilization for so long. So, you're from the United Korean Space Probe Agency, right? Or I guess maybe a future version of it? Yes, from what I understand. Right, of course. I really want to know about is Earth. I mean, I'm sort of aware of it, but I know it's the planet where we all come from. But I don't really know anything about it. I have some ideas, but I think they're really right. But you know about it, right? I mean, even if you're not from there yourself, you know what it's like, right? Yeah. Oh, wonderful. I sort of understand the basics. Like, it's a big sphere that everybody lives on, and there's unimaginably vast amounts of open space. And you can only see the stars at night, right? Because the sky just looks blue during the day. Ooh, sorry. Oh, this is what I know from the Pale Bride. She never saw Earth. She was second generation, born on the ship after it had long left Earth's star system. But her parents were born on Earth, so she has her stories from them when she was young. And I think they brought a lot of books and movies with them. I don't know, I'm just a little skeptical given she was just a child when she learned all that. Maybe she got mixed up. What can I actually ask in a yes or no question? Oh, what can I actually ask in a yes or no question? I didn't realize it would be this hard. Well, alright, so the Magungo was originally supposed to be establishing a colony at some star or other 100 light years away. I know that. That was a really long time ago. Did other ships ever succeed where we didn't, or is it still just Earth? I'm assuming there's other planets. Oh, well, that's wonderful to hear. Oh, I know. Is it really true that on Earth seasons aren't just metaphors? Like, oh, this sounds silly now that I actually put it into words. But the Pale Bride seemed to think that winter wasn't just something that happened, just emotion. just you emotionally on Earth. It was when actually an entire part of the planet turned frigid. Does that have any sort of basis in reality? Yeah, it does. Oh my word, that's amazing. Seriously, that sounds like, I can't even imagine that. What else was there? There was the city her parents were from. I think it was called Pyongyang. They described it as being amazing. If you looked up, all you would see were huge bright white buildings as tall as 100 more decks. And on the I'm not sure the word for this. It means sort of the bottom of the deck. Anyway, they said that the bottom, the streets were lined with willow trees, and the tops of the building had flower gardens. Have you ever been to that city before, or at least heard of it? Not really. Oh. Well, maybe it doesn't really exist then. Still, an amazing thought, though. Like, they said they met in one of those gardens up in the sky and fell in love at first sight. I guess the gardens probably aren't real, and maybe love at first sight isn't either. But geez, it's so awfully romantic, isn't it? But that's really my question, I guess. Is there worth being romantic about? I think it is. Well, I guess I've already wasted enough of your time with all my silly questions, have I? There's just, well, please humor me once more, then I promise I'll stop bothering you. Okay, do you really think I could ever see Earth? I think it's possible. Thank you for saying that, it just sounds so romantic, and I'd really like to see it someday, thanks. Very well, I promise to stop wasting your time. So what did you want to ask me about? Alright, so I'm going to just kind of call this where we're going to stop for the moment, and so far what we learned is that the year 312 or 319 just basically means how many years after the memory wipe happened. They were on a ship for colonization, and all the memory got wiped out, and that little girl was put into cryostasis, and then the data wipe happened. And they brought her back to give her to this guy as, you know, I guess, a gift, if you will, almost like possession. And she didn't like that very much, because she came from a time where obviously that doesn't happen. And it's amazing to think of the concept, really, of this kind of society that developed in this spaceship after being adrift for, you know, hundreds of years, and they just kind of reverted to this, like, patriarchal system with lords and kings and just like feudal system, and it's kind of weird to think about, you know, a ship that big, something that kind of happening like that, you know, they know they were going somewhere, memory got wiped from everything, so everyone had to relearn everything, and it just kind of reverted to this system of just kings and magistrates. It's kind of interesting. This game is not disappointing at all. I'll admit, it's getting very interesting. I really want to see where this is going. Especially if it has to do with something so sci-fi, but yet not at the same time. Something so human, yet so science fiction. It's really interesting, and it's sucking me in just pure text. And, you know, I guess this relationship I'm building with this AI, which I'm not really sure where it's going, but so far, you know, yeah, it just definitely has my full attention now. Full attention. Anyway, signing off. See you guys later.